In our video for you today on the news, a defiant Joe Biden rallies in Michigan. Singer Dua Lipa says her criticism of Israel's war in Gaza was for the greater good, and U.S. Congressmember AOC calls out Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas's conflict of interest. Let's get started with some clips of Joe Biden rallying in Michigan. In this clip, Biden goes after Donald Trump.
Folks, Donald Trump is a convicted criminal. He's convicted. He was convicted by a jury of his peers of 34 felonies for paying hush money to a porn star and hiding it from voters in 2016. Donald Trump was found liable for sexual assault by a judge who told us not to be fooled by Trump's brushing it off. Here's what the judge wrote, quote, the judge in that case wrote, Mr. Trump attempt to minimize sexual abuse, finding it frivolous. Mr. Trump raped her. It's the judge's language, not mine. Raped her, as many people understand the word rape. Folks, Donald Trump is a business fraud. He lost his license to do business in New York State. Been fined over $400 million for giving false information to banks. And he's still facing charge for mishandling classified information, which is a criminal offense. He's still facing charge for his role in January 6th trying to overthrow the outcome of the 2020 election. He's still facing charges in Georgia for election interference. Remember his phone call? I just need 11,780 votes. Name me another president who's done any of that. Look, if you want to know how bad a businessman Trump really is, just think about this. He inherited millions of dollars only to squander it. He's filed bankruptcy 6 times. He even went bankrupt running a casino. I didn't think that was possible. Doesn't the House always win at a casino? Most importantly, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Trump is a threat to this nation. He led a violent mob on January 6th to overturn the 2020 election. To hold on to power. The election I won by 7 million votes.
In this next clip, Biden says Trump can't even watch TV this week because it's Shark Week.
Think what he's been talking about. Hannibal Lecter, he says, is a nice guy. Trump would rather be electrocuted than eaten by a shark. You know that whole thing, remember that? Poor Donald. He can't even watch TV this week because it's Shark Week. And by the way,
in this next clip, amidst calls for him to drop out of the presidential race from a lot of people in the media in recent weeks, the crowd chants, "Don't you quit," at Joe Biden. Finally, in this next clip, Biden says he's not going anywhere.
I'm the nominee. I'm the nominee of this party because 14 million Democrats like you voted for me in the primaries. You made me the nominee, no one else, not the press, not the pundits, not the insiders, not donors. You, the voters, you decided, no one else, and I'm not going anywhere. I learned a long time ago that when you get knocked down, you get back up. I've led this nation from the depths of the pandemic to the strongest economy literally in the world.
Now let's get to this clip of AOC calling out Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas's conflict of interest.
Justice Thomas, who is married to Virginia Thomas, a financially and personally involved operative in the Stop the Steal movement and Capitol attack, also joined opinions in these cases, even as clear evidence mounted that not only was his wife fully committed to overthrowing the results of a fair election, but she was actively lobbying members of the Trump administration attempting to do just that. The questions before the court had unquestionable implications for Thomas's wife and consequently Thomas himself, making his refusal to recuse one of the most shocking examples of conflict of interest in the court's history. And crucially, it was both Justices Thomas and Alito who cast critical votes in the ruling.
In case you missed it, AOC filed articles of impeachment against Clarence Thomas and Justice Alito. In regards to Dua Lipa, according to The Guardian, Dua Lipa says her criticism of Israel's war in Gaza was for the greater good. According to The Guardian, the pop star Dua Lipa has said she is willing to risk a backlash over political statements after she recently described military operations in Gaza as Israeli genocide. In an interview with the Radio Times, Dua Lipa said she repeatedly checked herself before making a statement, but did so if she felt it was for the greater good and worth the risk. Dua Lipa wrote, "Burning children alive can never be justified. The whole world is mobilizing to stop the Israeli genocide. Please show your solidarity with Gaza."